1991. The 80s have given way to the 90s, the Cold War ended with the fall of the USSR, NASA launched the Hubble telescope, and pop culture cinema classics were still being pumped out on the regular, cementing some franchises that for some reason are still going strong today. Like seriously, there hasn't been a good Terminator movie since T2 back in 1991. Almost 30 years ago, and they're still trying to make it work? Why? By this time, the Nintendo Entertainment System was becoming old news. Out with the 8-bit, in with the 16-bit. Welcome to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Superpower.
Nintendo needed a familiar face to launch their new console. It would need to showcase what the Super Nintendo can do that the regular Nintendo just couldn't. So, here comes Super Mario World. A game that I think has one of the most insane premises, almost more insane than Death Stranding. You play as an Italian plumber from Brooklyn riding a Japanese dinosaur named Yoshi through a land made of chocolate, vanilla, and donuts to rescue a humanoid princess of mushroom people from an evil dark magic turtle. How eclectic. Super Mario World needed to be just as good as its predecessor, Super Mario Bros. 3, while also feeling completely new and different. It had to have the familiar Mario experience, but also show why it would be worth upgrading to the Super Nintendo to play the game. A seemingly impossible task. And hot damn, they did it!
He gets iconic everywhere. My mustache.
Oh,
My
absolutely.
iconic mustache.
It precedes you into the room by about 30 seconds.
Development on Super Mario World began in 1988, right after Super Mario Bros. 3 came out, in Japan. Shigeru Miyamoto produced with Takahashi Tezuka directing, and the team had a challenge: create a new Mario game to showcase the power and performance of the upcoming new hardware, the Super Nintendo. And they didn't do that. They did some things. Obviously, there are more colors and details. They used a transparency effect on layers, along with stretching and resizing sprites. And Koji Kondo utilized a new sound chip to create new memorable tunes, all based off the same melody. But Miyamoto is quoted as saying, "Just because we found something cool the hardware could do, something that made us go, if it ruined the balance or flow of the game, we didn't want to include it." That is really amazing. Imagine the restraint that took, having to purposely limit yourself from doing cool things because keeping continuity of the tone, direction, and feel of the entirety of the project was more important than wowing players with something neato. I am in my 30s. This was at a time when the console wars were starting to heat up and the stakes were very high. That takes incredible foresight and self-discipline to accomplish. The marketers would have loved the team to have gone balls to the wall and showcase all that the Super Nintendo could do, especially compared to the Genesis. I am, myself, a marketer. That would have been my instinctual first desire for them to do as well. But that's not what the development team did. They wanted to make a game that was tonally and mechanically cohesive, something even better than a messy showcase. But what about making Super Mario World a different experience from Super Mario Bros.? At the start of development, they actually ported Super Mario Bros. 3 to the Super Nintendo. This is what Miyamoto had to say of that experience. Before starting Super Mario World, we ported Mario 3 to the Super Famicom as a hardware experiment. And even though the colors and sprites were more detailed, it was still the same game. It made me realize that we couldn't just make the same game again, we had to create something new. So what is it about Super Mario World that makes it new? Let's first take a look at how Super Mario World approaches Mario's jump. core of this game is the same as the core of the others before it. Mario is Jumpman. That's who he is. That is the main source of gameplay in a Mario game, jumping. That idea doesn't change in this installment. Instead, they redefine the context of his jump in a couple of ways. First, they added a secondary jump, the spin jump. Second, they redefined how familiar objects and enemies respond to your jump. Goombas and Koopas, for example, operate very differently from previous entries. Goombas are no longer mushroom-type creatures, but these bulbous monsters. Jumping on them doesn't squish them, it flips them over, making them carryable, throwable objects. And objects can now be thrown upward as well as forward in this game, adding another way to deal with enemies from below and for secret finding. Koopas no longer retreat into their shell either. Instead, they are thrown out of it and can be squished. Their shells are now empty and no longer a threat of a Koopa reappearing out of it. New enemies don't exactly react to jumps in familiar ways either. There's these dinosaurs that take 2 jumps, with the first one squishing them like a pancake, and then when squished, they move faster. Wigglers don't die when you jump on them. They just get very angry and once again begin moving much faster. Do not hop on Pop. And charging Chucks take several hits and you bounce wildly off their helmets, making it hard to control Mario to keep him on top of Chuck. Blocks are no longer breakable from below. Hitting them as either big or small Mario makes them spin for a moment. While spinning, the block is a passable surface, allowing you to jump through it. Once it stops spinning, it becomes a solid surface once more. Then there is the spin jump. Spin jumps don't have the height or distance of the regular jump, but this jump obliterates Koopas and Goombas into a puff of smoke. And spin jumps can also be used to jump on spinies, thwomps, and other objects without being hurt. You can't defeat these enemies this way, but it does prevent you from taking damage. The trade-off is you lose some control of Mario. He becomes a little sporadic and not as nimble. To use a spin jump in this manner requires practice and skill. And if you're Super Mario, you can spin jump on the blocks to break them, redefining how you will use it in secret finding. It's not about breaking from below this time, but breaking blocks from above. Flying works differently too. Instead of the Tanuki leaf, we have the cape feather. Mario can fly indefinitely if you time your button presses right to catch the wind, and his spin attack can now be continuous. Lastly, there is the biggest change to Mario's power-ups and moveset, an idea that Miyamoto had kicked around since the first Super Mario Bros. Game. He always wanted to give Mario a mount, but it wasn't feasible until the hardware caught up with his imagination. So now we get his faithful steed, a little dinosaur named Yoshi. Riding a Yoshi added a new element to Mario's moves. Jumping on enemies obliterated them like Mario's spin jump, but now you could also eat most enemies, with the majority just being swallowed. The Koopas would be held in Yoshi's mouth momentarily before being swallowed, and different colored Koopa shells did different things. Green acted like normal, spit them out and a shell became a projectile. Red shells became flames, blue shells give Yoshi the power of flight, and yellow shells give Yoshi a ground pound, which, I'll be honest, I never found useful. Each shell can only be used as long as Yoshi holds it in his mouth. The second he swallows a shell, the power-up is gone. And this can be spammed, of course, by gently spitting out the shell by holding down and pressing the attack button. This will not launch the shell, but just place the shell right in front of Yoshi. It can then be re-eaten to reset the swallow timer for the power-up. The red shell is the exception to this, since when you spit it out, it immediately turns into flames. Lastly, with Yoshi, if you're not going to make a jump, you can jump off Yoshi for additional height and distance, dooming Yoshi to a deadly fall, cause who cares? What was once familiar is now foreign. The Mario staples are redefined. His jump isn't just enhanced, it's overhauled. What's ironic about this overhaul is that they didn't overhaul the jump itself. It controls and behaves exactly as you would expect. They kept the language the same from the previous Mario games. The movement is familiar, the feeling is familiar. Instead, it was the context around the jump that changed. What you knew before is no longer true. Super Mario World is a different game. It's this radical re-envisioning of the game world that gave Super Mario World its title of Super Mario World. Duh. Levels in past Mario games were categorized into individual worlds, with Super Mario Bros. 3 giving each world a distinctive theme and overworld map. Super Mario World continues this trend. The first two worlds of Yoshi's Island and Donut Plains are pretty similar and standard grassland-themed levels. Then you enter Vanilla Dome, which are cave-themed levels. This leads to Twin Bridges, which are sky-themed levels. Forest of Illusion is forest-themed, obviously, and Chocolate Island is actually a desert theme. And finally, there's the Valley of Bowser, which is similar to the Dark World theme. Kinda. They're actually just underground themed like Vanilla Dome. It's not really inspiring, to be honest, but there you have the worlds. Super Mario Bros. 3's worlds stood on their own with level choice and secret paths that led to shortcuts. Each world was an island unto itself. Super Mario World, on the other hand, is one continuous map, with obvious sections designating each individual world. But the worlds are also interconnected with each other to form a larger world, allowing you to move freely from world to world, and replay any level you see fit. It all feels like a cohesive whole. As you progress, you can see how each individual world fits into the larger world it inhabits. The inside of Vanilla Dome fits geographically with what we see on the outside of it, even down to the placement of pipes, which is quite clever. Other than making the world larger and interconnected, what does this design do for the overworld that Super Mario Bros. 3 didn't? Let's talk about secrets. No, not SEACREST. Secrets. At first glance, there's an obvious and set main path to work your way through the game. That is until you reach the Forest of Illusion, where if you simply complete each level, the pathway opens up and circles around itself. Now you find yourself stuck in a loop with no obvious way to get through. The solution lies in what you should have learned at the start of the game, so let's start from the top, shall we? Wait, no. Too far. Can we, let's not go this far. Can we fast forward back a little bit? Let's reload to Super Mario World. You went too far. Okay, thank you. That's better. Jeez, interns, man. Right away, you find yourself at Yoshi's house. Yoshi's Island 1 on the left and Yoshi's Island 2 on the right. At a quick glance, it is obvious that the correct path is to the right. That leads to the castle, which we all know will be the last level of the world. The path to the left leads to a mountain of some kind off-screen. Since Mario games should go to the right, it may be first instinct to go with what is known to get a handle on the game. When you enter into these levels on the right, you'll notice that they're a little straightforward classic Super Mario Bros. Type levels. There are some new obstacle ideas and experiences, but it's well-designed safety content. Also through these levels are these empty yellow squares, prompting you to wonder, what could they be used for? What is their purpose? Completing the level opens the path up, revealing the next level. After completing the castle level, it crumbles into a pile of brick and a bridge forms leading to the next world, Donut Plains. You'll notice two things. One, the scope of the world will open up very quickly. The first few levels were pretty straightforward on Yoshi's Island and only introduced Yoshi as a new power-up. No feathers are seen yet. The first level on Donut Plains very quickly introduces us to the feather thanks to a flying Koopa with a flashing cape. You also notice something else in this level. The yellow squares are back along with green ones. Both seem to be pointing to a secret. The yellow squares are directly beneath a pipe, and that is a clue to us that you should be able to enter that pipe to a secret area. But what about the green blocks? Curious. 2. You'll notice once again the main path is made clear, this time moving to the left. But on the right-hand side, there are pipes and a random ghost house, which has you wondering, how do we get to those sections? And on the left-hand side, we see the top of the mountain from Yoshi's Island. It looks like nothing is there, right? Well, obviously there should be. We saw the path. So this should prompt you to go back to Yoshi's Island and play Yoshi's Island 1. And what a strange, wonderful level it is. While the others were pretty run-of-the-mill Mario levels, except for Donut Plains 1, Yoshi's Island 1 has slanting platforms messing with Mario's physics, a giant bonsai bill being fired across the screen that you have to dodge, and those new dinosaur enemies that take 2 jumps to defeat. This is the level that showcases the vast changes to the context of your jump that you will see for the rest of your adventure in Super Mario World. Completing this level opens the path up the mountain. Ascending it, you will find a giant yellow switch has appeared. This is a switch palace. When completed, the yellow outline blocks become filled. Hitting one will net you a mushroom from it every single time, no matter the power-up you have equipped. These blocks also act as safety nets in certain levels, making them easier. And that pipe can now be accessed in Donut Plains 1, sending you to a mini-game where you have to hit question blocks in the right order to get an extra life. Another thing you will notice is that the level emblem for Donut Plains 1 is red, not yellow. There's a text block next to the green outlines. Hitting it will tell us that red icon levels have more than one exit, the main one and a hidden one. We can deduce that this level's secret exit is up that green section, which, upon finding the green switch palace, will make those solid and you can run up the side. Or if you're good with the cape, you can fly up yourself. Moving to the next level, we see this too is a red icon level. If you decide to find the secret exit on this one, this will reveal that switch palace. All these secret exits reveal hidden levels, alternate paths through the world, and other bonus levels in switch palaces to fill in the other colored block outlines. For the next 3 worlds, we see how paths branch and reconverge, sometimes in the same world and sometimes in the next. And in the last 2 worlds, Forest of Illusions and Chocolate Island, finding the secret exits are mandatory to advance through the world. Chocolate Island levels flip the secret exit search on its head. It's not just about finding the secret key and keyhole location, you have to earn it by solving the puzzle, so to speak. One level's layout changes based on how many coins you have and how long it takes you to complete certain sections of the level. Depending how you play in the first section of this level, changes what the second section of the level looks like, which then affects what the third section will be and which exit you will end up getting. It takes the act of finding secret exits and flips it. Some secret exits reveal these stars that lead to special levels in Star Road, which when you complete those levels, secret exit shortcuts are created through Dinosaur Land, and will also lead to a super secret world of special levels that are hard endgame challenges for the truly dedicated player. There's even a secret exit from the ghost house in Donut Plains that leads to a hidden level that is a single screen where you can get power-ups, Yoshi, and then head back out. You can re-enter and exit this level as much as you like whenever you like, allowing you to backtrack to equip the power-up you want and even spam for extra lives. Going off the beaten path in Super Mario World has a significant and permanent change in the world. Your progress doesn't just simply get you closer to the end of rescuing Peach, it literally changes the layout of the world and the design of some levels. Your reward for searching for the hidden exits and finding all the switch palaces opens up the ability to find other hidden exits and even ratchets down the difficulty of some areas. You can even discover a secret entrance to Bowser's castle, passing most of the obstacles of his keep. Getting to the final world, Valley of Bowser, is also a treat. If you've been exploring secret exits, you would have gone past Bowser's Valley, but it's not immediately apparent where it is on the map. Though as we progress, it's obviously in this ring of rocks in the sea. After completing Chocolate Island and the next level, Ghost Ship, a large Bowser-esque rock skull emerges from the water. Entering into it feels like you are entering into the belly of the beast. While to be honest, the final world isn't something to really write home about, its reveal is momentous. It's a way to make Bowser's arrival daunting and threatening. All these secret exits point to the new main focus of Super Mario World, and for the Super Mario franchise as a whole. While the core of the game still centers on the jump, the whole focus of this game is now in exploration. Super Mario Bros. Always had an element of exploration baked into it, but it didn't venture much farther into checking pipes, hitting every block, and sometimes exiting the viewable game area to find warp zones. Super Mario World took that idea and altered the map and level design around the goal of exploration. Levels are actually easier than the original Nintendo entries. While the jump is still integral to the moment-by-moment gameplay, it wasn't the source of the main challenge this time around. The challenge this time around wasn't fighting your way through the game, but finding your way through the game. It's why the last few worlds were focused on locating the secret exits to complete them. This is why they made the changes to how things react to your jump, and even how power-ups work. In Super Mario Bros. 3, while on the overworld, you could have a stock of different power-ups in your inventory to equip before entering a level. Super Mario World keeps one spare item available in a box at the top of the screen instead. If you take damage, you sadly go all the way back to regular Tiny Mario, even if you're powered up with a Fire Flower or Feather, which this was different in Super Mario Bros. 3. But if you have an item, like a Mushroom, Fire Flower, or Feather in the box, it will release and float down the screen, enabling you to re-power up. Or you can press select to release the power up yourself. You could be equipped with the Fire Flower and decide you needed to use a feather you have in reserve. When you grab the feather, the Fire Flower power-up you had reappears in the box, allowing you to switch back if you need to, as long as you don't take damage. It's clever and allows you to prepare and be able to switch power-ups on the fly as you go through a level. This was a joy found in Super Mario World. Every red icon level in Ghost House would have you replaying it to find the secret exits and bosses to open up new paths, discover new levels, new shortcuts, and even new colored Yoshis in the Star Road levels. For some of these levels and their secrets, you had to come prepared with the right power-up to discover its additional exit. The competition at the time had decided to focus on speed with its blast processing. Nintendo's response wasn't to raise the stakes and go faster. They took a completely different approach. They actually slowed down. They removed some of the momentum that Mario was known for in the NES games and made exploration the glue that held the game together. Mario games are an adventure, and action isn't necessarily the core of adventure. Discovery is. Super Mario World is not the first game to revolve around exploration and discovery. Other games have done it before, and done it on a grander, bigger scale on older hardware to boot. But this did exploration the Mario way. They didn't take exact ideas from other games and just shoehorn them in. They took the core idea and made exploration work for Mario, in Mario's language. Super Mario World felt familiar yet fresh at the same time. It played like Mario. It felt like Mario. It was classic Mario, but with new twists and old ideas, and a razor-sharp focus on making exploration a difficulty rather than the platforming. Not to say there were no levels with a focus on skilled platforming, there absolutely were, and the hardest of the platforming challenge levels were hidden in a secret world behind a secret star, which was hidden in a secret world discovered by finding secret stars, by finding secret exits, and secret levels. It was secrets upon secrets upon secrets. The reward for unlocking this exploration puzzle was a familiar challenge that Super Mario Bros. 3 players were looking for. The fact that it's hidden behind so many secrets proves my point, that the focus of this game is being on exploration, not just strictly platforming. Super Mario World is a different game.